guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another Planet Zoo speed build, and welcome back to Pine Mountain Sanctuary. For those of you that have been missing this project, we hadn't forgotten about it, we hadn't abandoned it, we are still going strong. We just needed a little bit of a break, and after this last animal pack, I feel like all of us are a little bit more rejuvenated to build again. So we've actually kind of been going back and forth on who gets the file because we kind of all have ideas to get in here. So if you are brand new to the project, Pine Mountain Sanctuary is a collaborative project between myself, Zoof, Beyond Drew TV, and Stan Wolf. All of us are collectively taking turns and building in this park file. If you missed it, the latest episode of Pine Mountain Sanctuary is up on Zoof's channel, where he added the cute little otter, the recent one that we got in the Wetlands pack. It's actually right across from where I'm building this habitat. We're kind of going off in this direction with the park, whereas over to the left or behind this little area that we're building in is the actual Pine Mountain that Drew built, and then the little like resort, I think it was a restaurant that Stan put in, or it was a visitor center, that's right, the visitor center that Stan put in. This is kind of over off to the side, and we're kind of going out that way, so opposite of where the moose is what I put in last, the moose and pronghorn habitat. But it feels really good to be back in this project. I really did miss it. I love the style of Pine Mountain Sanctuary as like a rustic, kind of like, what's the word, or the national park kind of feeling is what we're going for. Now this habitat, because I don't even think I mentioned it yet, but you'll have known by the thumbnail and the title, we're adding the caiman, but not only the spectacled caiman, we also add the dwarf caiman, and then there is also one American alligator in there. So it is a reptile habitat, a crocodile habitat, or alligator habitat, a mixed species. So I wanted to build something that was very kind of small zoo feeling, kind of under budget. I mean, I say under budget, but maybe not under budget, because when I think of under budget, I think of something that's like not adequate for the animals, something that like you couldn't afford, so you just made the best of what you had. I don't think this build is that. I think this build is just low budget. So they had the money, you know, to make it adequate for the animals, and therefore the animals are housed in there, but it's by no means like above and beyond some fantastic habitat. So it's one of those things where I wanted it to just be kind of a small habitat that you'd just be walking by on your way to another bigger species, or maybe something that you actually came to the zoo to see, or one of the more exciting animals. So it has a really simple kind of fence around it, really simple rock work. Most of it is kept open because, you know, alligators, crocodiles, they don't really need much. They spend most of their time in the water, but I made sure to have this nice big pool for them, as well as lots of room for them to pull themselves out of the water and bask in the sun. And I really love how this little island turned out. So that's what I was basing this entire build around. Is I saw a reference picture where the little island had a bunch of rocks surrounding it, and it was very clearly like this man-made little island inside this concrete pool, and so I figured I could recreate something like that and have it be the focal point of the habitat. All in all, this build really only took me about an hour and 45 minutes or so, just under 2 hours, with the majority of it being making this pool. As much as I absolutely love this plastered look, and I think they always turn out great, I always love when I decide to do this, is time consuming. You might have seen I took a little bit of a break and I kind of worked on something else. I placed the rocks around the island. I think I placed, the fallen tree, just to kind of get more of the atmosphere going and where I wanted things to be, because I got tired of placing plaster. As much as, like I said, I love it, it just gets tedious and tiring. So we are almost done, almost done surrounding this entire pond with plaster, and then I do my good old hide everything with rocks that I don't want to fix. So that's what we're doing here, is we're taking the aquatic rocks and we're kind of fixing any of the kind of sticking out corners that you could make it work with plaster, but at this point I was so done with it that I just wanted to move on to rocks and foliage, because everybody knows that's my favorite part of any habitat. But before that, we are working on the surrounding fence for the habitat with little kind of glass peek in areas. So that's what I mean by kind of like a lower budget enclosure. This is basically just like a circular fenced in little paddock area for the crocodiles to be in. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. Again, I was getting this off of a reference picture and building it mostly out of the log pieces just to match Pine Mountain Sanctuary's feel and the style and keep it feeling very rustic. So I basically make this one little panel here with the glass, and then I make another one that is without the glass, and between those two different little panels, that makes up the entirety of the fencing for this habitat. Crocodiles and alligators obviously aren't going to like climb really tall fences or worry about them jumping out or anything like that, so their fencing can be relatively simple. It probably didn't even need to really be this high, but you can see I put a little what is that guy called? A little guest. A little guest by the side just to make sure I get the scaling right. And then I'm kind of just winging the shape because I really didn't want it to be just a plain square habitat. I also didn't want it to be a perfect circle. So I kind of just winged it, and I kind of just, duplicated these pieces and continued along with the barrier until it completed an enclosed space for the caiman. So while we are continuing with that, placing the path around and doing more fencing, let's talk about our caimans. And today I actually want to start by talking about some behavior. So spectacled caimans live in loose-knit groups, but are generally solitary except during mating season. They stay in the same territory and remain immobile for most of the day. During the heat of midday, they stay submerged. Morning to early afternoon, they bask on the shore. They are able to rapidly respond to certain situations like catching prey. Spectacled caimans typically feed at night. During mating season, they become territorial and aggressive. Social rank is determined by size, with larger animals being more dominant. Animals with higher social rank tend to have more mating chances during mating season. Home ranges are not large, and spectacled caimans generally stay in their home ranges throughout the year. Home range size varies with the structure and richness of the habitat. Moving on to their food, they are carnivores. Everybody, I think, could have guessed that. So they're going to eat like terrestrial vertebrates, some little fish, maybe some insects, just lots of animal material or meat material because they are carnivores. Spectacled caimans are carnivorous generalists. So generalists meaning they kind of just eat whatever they can get their mouths on. Prey items change as they grow from small to larger caimans. Prey can include insects, snails, shrimp, crabs, fish, lizards, snakes, turtles, birds, and mammals. Spectacled caimans have at least 105 prey items reported in their diet. Cannibalism can occur, especially under drought conditions when many caimans of different sizes are concentrated in small areas. However, this species can be surprisingly unaggressive and tolerant of temporarily dense concentrations during the dry season. Predation during nesting time, tegu lizards can destroy up to 80% of caiman nests in some places. Wow, I didn't actually know that. That's a bummer. I knew lizards and stuff get into crocodile and alligator nests all the time, but I didn't know it was specifically tegu lizards. Tegu lizards are actually a really popular pet. I've known a couple people that have had them. They kind of describe them as like the dogs of the lizard world because they're smart, they're easy to handle, and a lot of people actually walk them on leashes, which I think is just like the funniest thing to have a lizard walking on a leash. But apparently they're trainable and they like it. So let me know down below. Actually, random question. Have any of you guys ever owned a tegu or known anybody that's owned a tegu? I think they're fascinating little lizards. Anyway, so that's just a little bit about the Caiman. This video is actually not too long. I needed to get something out for you guys. I am actually on a plane currently while you're watching this, if you're watching it when it goes live. On Monday morning, I fly out and I'm going to Florida, and I will be in Florida for the entire week. I'm going to Orlando and going to Disney World and doing all the fun touristy things. It's a little family reunion, family vacation, and I'm very, very excited. So I will be a very happy camper on a plane. Well, actually, I take that back. I will not be the happiest camper until the plane lands because I'm not a very good flyer. I get very nervous and I don't really like turbulence, but my point being, while you guys are watching this, I am on my way to vacation. So videos will be slow and there likely won't be any other videos this week, just this one. And then when I get back, we will continue on with our usual content. Before the video ends, I also do want to do a quick shameless self-promotion. I recently designed and had some stickers made as merch that are live on my website now. I'll go ahead and put a picture of the sticker up on the screen. It is a sleepy little red panda that is permanently tired, and if you relate to it, if you're anything like me, I feel like I am in a perpetual state of tiredness as an adult. Life is just difficult sometimes, and so I designed a sticker that kind of reflected my feelings. I have a couple more stickers and pins in the works, and I hope you guys really love them. I work really hard on them, and I'm really excited to bring these to you guys. So anyway, they are on my website. If you want to pick one up, you can order it through there. I won't be able to ship anything out until I get back from Florida, but when I get back, I will get them all out the first day that I am back. You guys have been incredibly supportive so far, and I really only have, you know, a little bit of my stock left. I didn't order too many because I wasn't sure how they were gonna do, but you guys have been phenomenal. So yeah, so link is down below in the description if you want to pick up a sticker for yourself, and then do keep your eyes out because I have more coming very soon. Back to the build right before we end. So those two little houses are little like heated houses I thought they would be. So my idea is that they would have a heating fixture in there. So at night, the caimans and the alligator that's in there could potentially go in that little house if they want to. I didn't do any sort of like chutes or double gates or anything like that because with how small these animals are, I imagine the keepers would just be kind of going in with them and walking around as long as you're, you know, being safe, keeping space from them. It should be just fine. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they are not that threatening to keepers going into their habitat. The very last thing we're gonna do is we're going to take this fence that has already been made. I actually think Zoof originally made this fence, and then after he made it, it's basically become the surrounding fence for all guest areas, which I think is actually great because it keeps the park feeling cohesive and it keeps it all kind of the same style and something running through the entire park that is the same. So he made it really easy on me. I just kind of grabbed it and put it in front of this one as like a double fence to keep guests from getting too close to the habitat fence, and then kind of just adjusting the, what is this called, education sign to have both the spectacled caiman as well as the dwarf caiman on there. I didn't put a sign for the American alligator. I figured that one might just have been like a rescue that the sanctuary took in like last minute and they haven't been able to put up signs or anything for it. So right now they just have the caiman education stuff. But yeah, just throwing a few more benches here. We're gonna place a couple more trees. I really don't do a whole lot on the outside of the habitat because this is a collaboration. I wanna make sure that, you know, whoever wants to build outside of this has some room to do so and build whatever they want to build. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. The channel has been growing like a weed recently, and I am so incredibly thankful for all the support. I don't know how to thank you guys enough. You guys have all been fantastic. We are chugging right along, and we're gonna hit the next milestone subscriber, I feel like in the next like month or so. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet, do hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, because because it really does help me out and I greatly do appreciate it. All my other social medias are down below, like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, all that kind of stuff if you're interested in following me elsewhere. Enjoy these end cinematics of our little scaly friends swimming through their water, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!